Hey guys, officially, I think I'm done using that voice thing now. I'm kind of the only reason why I was doing it is because I am not. I think my voice is kind of terrible. Sometimes I don't even like my own voice, but I'm going to stop using the thing just because it's difficult, and I kind of just want to release the TikTok and then just click it and just send it out to the world. And if I have to keep on pressing that voice, I actually have to wait for it to load in the voice for the entire thing, and it's just boring, and I don't like it. Also, I think it's making my phone overheat, and so it may make my phone self-destruct. I'm thinking in my head right now. I'm about to hear in my phone, self-destruct sequence in 10 minus 1 minutes. 1, 2, 3, and I'm freaking out. But yeah, I'm gonna be honest with you people. I'm gonna be honest with everyone. I do not have any other mystery lore or what if or what if it exists or not in my unit. Like not if it exists, but if it actually is there, and if it and people who say it does exist, or people says there, people say they seen it, people don't, and then people say they haven't seen it, so they think it's not real, stuff like that. Like the boogeyman, the werewolves, and Illuminati, and the Bermuda Triangle, stuff like that. So because of that, I'm actually going to talk about uh. Well, I made Crimson Thunder first before I made anything else in my universe, so I guess it's time for me to share that. So, with other news, with me let me tell the story. So I was in my old school before I was in the school I'm in now, and I was about 14 at the time, and I was just sitting there. I was making my dragon art. As you guys see, I do love doing dragon art as well. And because I was doing dragon art, I talked about superheroes, dragons, sometimes food. And I was like, oh, I wish I could make my own superhero. And my art teacher, including another art staff that was there, and he was like, why don't you? And I was like, because I could never make it better than all the other ones that have been made before. And they were like, well, who says that you have to? And it took me an hour. It took me probably 2 hours or so because I was at home already. And for me to be in my head and be like, they're right. I can make my own superhero. So I spent in my room an hour of me thinking of a name. I started with the name first. What anyone who's making superheroes definitely, I will do whatever you want. I'm not gonna tell you what you should or should not do. You can start with the power, then the name, or you could do the name first or the power, then the power next. Is your choice. But yeah. What happened was, I went through thousands and thousands of names before I hit Crimson Thunder. So I got, and the reason why was because I was like, oh, everyone at school is going to know that I'm going to pick red, make a name that has to do with red, because they all know that red's my favorite color. So I was like, what's going to trip them up? And so I picked Crimson Thunder instead of Red Thunder. And yes, people, I'm telling the truth. That was my thought process. It's ridiculous. Even now, it makes me laugh because I'm just like, as I'm getting older, I realize how stupid it is, because it's just like my thought process was incredibly stupid. Since I chose a name that goes with the word red. So it was ridiculous. Oh god. I gotta compose myself. Okay. I'm so sick, but whatever. So, after that, and I made his power. And before we got to how Crimson Thunder power is, and if you guys want that, I had made a whole TikTok about me talking about Crimson Thunder's powers. So if you guys want, you guys can go look at that. Before we even got to that, I pretty much made his powers, but he was way too OP. He was pretty much like a god. He could do whatever he wants. One time I had fights where he was able to pull people from the past during the fight, like for every millisecond, and then he absorbed it into himself to make himself more powerful. So he was way too OP, and then people were like saying, he's way too powerful. If he can bring back the dead, like he can't die. That's not really. He doesn't give a really good edge. So I took it to heart because back then I was not very good with taking taking like self reflection stuff very well back then. I'm really good at it now, but back then not so much. So yeah, after that, I kind of took, and then I started realizing that I was getting bored of Crimson Thunder just because of how OP he was, and yeah, I was starting getting bored of him. So I changed his powers, made him had Crimson energy, gave him a whole origin story that is like he became Dragator because of the blast, me creating the Shadowverse, and I made that a thing because I already made Shadowverses, so I pretty much just said like all the dragons were in the Shadowverse, and through history, stories got more enveloped. So now it's like, oh yeah, so he gets his crimson energy from a dragon because when a dragon bonds with a person, they get power. And then I gave him other weaknesses, like Dragators are weakened to a pollen from a dragon flower, and also from a few things that could pierce their skin, like Dragantanium. And that gave him the weakness, like the more energy he releases out of his body, the more he actually will like slowly kill himself because it's like destroying his cells from the inside. And then I made it for them the indestructible crystals. If they absorb enough energy, they'll just break away like they will break apart like dust. Um, and then I gave him more defects. Like when he makes crimson creations, he sees through their eyes, and he can't see what's in front of him. And when it came to crystal creations, they are alive, but if you destroy the energy before they return the energy back into me, they cannot exist no more, and they just die. So I gave him a lot of defects. But yeah, that's the origin story. So I created Crimson Thunder when I was 14, people. I created Crimson Thunder when I was 14. I'm making this TikTok just to clarify that. I was 14 when I made it, and yeah, that's the whole story. That's how I started creating stuff. And then I created my first ever villains. Well, I'm probably going to explain that one tomorrow. Actually, yeah, I'm going to explain that one tomorrow, and I'm probably going to explain other stuff as well, because I'm probably going to do that just for fun. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this. So yeah, and I hope you guys enjoyed this little history of how the first ever superhero in my universe, Crimson Thunder, came out to exist before I made a whole universe. So yeah, I hope you guys. So yeah, like I said, hope you guys enjoyed. See you guys later. Crimson Thunder out.